Hey there, fellow defenders of the Ark, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Frostwardens, Episode 14, Always Outnumbered. For now, I'm going to set them up zoned to behind the walls, so that they don't stray too far, but they'll have a little bit more freedom of movement. Alright, fish pick just naturally fully healed, so is no longer bleeding. But we're still not even done tending wounds. There we go. Alright, the batteries have sprung back. So I'll go ahead and reconnect the sun lamp so that we can continue growing food. And I'm going to keep everyone on bed rest for now. Because with all the injuries that we have, they're all a bit of a liability in their current state. Alright, Pierogi is healed. So, you are going to be set up to close. But I think I'm going to have you clean the area first. It's so filthy, it's going to cause some real mood problems. We're now into mid-fall. And Dog wants to throw a party, having cleaned up, I guess? Party was called off, and I really have no idea why. I, didn't trigger that. Alright, Fishpick is doing some repairs. And, Dog and Fishpick are fully healed. Axios, I'm probably going to have stop resting, just so that I can haul the corpses out, as they are the most problematic thing for our colonists to look upon. So you guys wanted me to improve the defenses. So I'll work towards that goal, which means probably setting up a network of deadfall traps. Oh, you are not in a good way. You are very seriously... Is there... Your parka's about to be tattered. There's not I guess your tribal wear could be replaced with warmer tribal wear. But there isn't really much I can do for Dog to try to counter the cold. Clothing quality could do a little, but probably not that much. So in this case, I think what I want is to set up a deadfall trap hallway in this area. Having it be airlocked. And the reason to pick this spot here is it goes around a lot of water, so it's easy to get access from the defender's standpoint, being able to flip-flop which doors are open, but it will allow us to very easily rearm and control. And I think because we just have a lot of limestone over slate, I'm going to use limestone blocks. Which also means we are going to need to do some wall cutouts here, so that we can rearm the deadfall traps from the safety of within the base. That's pretty much the scope of the project. I'm going to do the traps last. All right, Axios is fully healed. That's great. And we're getting another rice farm, which is fantastic. Because it's getting colder, I'm going to restrict the close zone again. I'm just going to do it kind of like quick and sloppy, and I'm going to do the same to the Axios zone. Axios, of course, has access to the corpse areas, whereas no one else does. It's uniquely his responsibility. So we'll have a limestone door here, allowing us to use this as like a proper exit, and we can always flip-flop this open. The other thing that we might want, just to be able to rearm this quickly, is to floor tile it up. It will increase the rate at which the enemies traverse this area, but because we're going to use it, you know, to increase our rearm speed, I think it's probably better that that it's paved. Once Zeuson's fully recovered, I'm going to have her spend some more time trying to get the ground pen scanning all the way up. I know that I didn't end up taking any of the supplies up here, but I think at this point, it's simply too cold and too dangerous to go venturing all the way up there. We're not likely to make it there without getting critical hypothermia and collapsing in the attempt. So, before anyone's like, hey, you forgot about the siege site. It's like, yeah, no, I haven't forgotten. It's just, it's a non-starter. We go and we drop dead due to hypothermia before we get back. Which means it's not really worth it. Alright, Axios. I would like you to clean up some of the corpses in the front pile. Zeusin, you've been bed resting for a few days now. Let's get you... I think she's rested enough that I'm going to take her off of dedicated rest. Most of her wounds are not affecting her mobility too badly. Unfortunately, that was mistimed because Pierogadog had a daze right as she started cooking. Alright, he's critically hypothermic, and a flash storm going. Rough. So Tannering, you asked about warmer clothing. The only material that we have is cloth. We can try to make warmer clothing, but it's only going to be warmer by a degree or two. It's not going to be significant enough to probably warrant making, which is why my simple answer is no. It might keep us warmer by a degree or two, but a degree or two is kind of nothing in the larger scheme of things, considering our current gear is good until about -38, so getting up to -41 makes no difference when it's -65 out. With the deep drill, is it possible to get both types of stone in the inner area? I don't know. I haven't probed for that. So, let's hope he doesn't lose a finger due to his daze during hypothermia. I could arrest him, but I'd rather not have to go to such extremes. Alright, I think Axios, Fishpick, and Zeusin are all going to be set to Warm Zone. Or actually, everyone's set to Warm Zone. Alright, Pierogi is losing toes due to his daze. He did just wander in. I can try to tend him, because it will also lock him down. I could have tried to tend to him slower, I guess. It, like, keeps him inside from losing more fingers and toes. Alright, and the ground scanner is back on. Now, one thing about the ground scanner is it's probably not going to be warm enough with just one heater. So I'm going to attempt to move the raid box heater into where Zeusin is to keep it warmer. Doesn't seem to be having really any effect at all, though. In fact, they're not even on. Why not? It's an unroofed zone, but it should be, I don't think it's the door. Just whether doors are open or closed doesn't really affect the heaters. Yeah, so again, to reiterate the rules, there is no trade. It wouldn't even make sense for the series. Like nobody could survive sending a caravan out from Brazelton to, trade makes no sense. There was no trade in Frostpunk, there's no trade here. Just to repeat myself. So yeah, there are no trade opportunities, and there never will be. It's self-reliance or bust. You can think of it that way. What I'm going to try to do is increase the roofed area by 1. There was a DLC about trade? Yeah, well, not here. The only trade there is bullets. Huh. Alright, well, I can keep those... Well, maybe what I'll do is I'll keep the heaters off until we can try to figure out a solution to why the heaters aren't functional by changing the roof zone percentage. And I'm just trying to keep a very close eye on hypothermia, because obviously Krogadog losing a toe makes him even more vulnerable to raids as a result. It's best if we don't have our people suffer in that way. A siege. It's quite likely I won't have to do much in terms of defending against the siege. If I was to guess. Because it's so cold out, I can't imagine that the siege attackers are going to survive very long. But we'll see. So what Axios is attempting to do here is to make use of the mortars that we currently have. So I have some high shells. I'm going to man the mortar and set a target for their high shell stat. How insulated are the siegers? Some of them are really poorly insulated. Some are insulated enough to resist the ambient temperature a little. No one is fully capable of resisting the temperature. Zeusin is gonna go join Axios in the defense. I know this is an incendiary mortar shell, but rather than unload it, I'm just gonna have her launch incendiaries for the first shot. Almost got Seymour there. Okay, Seymour got struck. Oh, the Godless is coming, and they are here to attack the siege site. Interesting. We did get struck, but not of critical infrastructure, which is good. And now the Godless and the Prime Army are going to duke it out for who has the rights to siege us, I guess. And I am considering... Okay, at this point, I'm going to stop the barrage. I don't think it's necessary. Definitely not necessary. That was a good hit. So, the Godless are coming in. They are a Prepare a While raid. They still have pretty good numbers, so we do have to be concerned about them. I think what I'm going to do is forbid the destruction of these wall sections for now until we have a little bit more of the infrastructure built up. So of the Godless, has any of them fallen? One died? Okay. I'm just trying to get a gauge on how many we're going to have to kill to route this raid as well. Which is... seems like a lot of them will have to die. And I'm going to start heating up the siege defense room. So that we can... or the pillbox. So that we don't get hypothermia in there. Now, I bet a lot of these guys are not well insulated enough to know. Yeah, so a lot of them are going to fall. I don't think we're actually going to have to actively fight this raid, as I think it's very likely that they never make it to our gates. But regardless, I'm going to set them up to be behind the walls. Krogadog, it'd be great if you, like, snapped out of it, man. No, some of them might make it here. So we'll get our few shooters that are, able-bodied and ready in the defense. And we also have Rescue of Dems. Sorry to say, Dems, but yeah, there's zero chance that we make it to you alive without freezing to death. Oh, and they're gone. Fleeing because a whole bunch of them didn't actually make it to the gates. Just exactly as I suspected they would. I'm going to intentionally turn off 3 of the basins so that we can do some more ground scanning rather than have to rely upon restricting our power usage more severely. You have been wandering for like a full day, my friend. What the hell? Okay, now the heater is working. I guess we are 1 tile shy of like proper setup. So I think what I'll do is I will change where that tile is to here instead. So that it looks a little less wonky. But I'm glad that we figured that out. So now that this is a heated scanning room, where the heaters are trying to offset the ambient temp. That was a goal a little while back, and I haven't forgotten about it, so happy to be working back on that. Cool. Now, so Zeusin, as a result, can ground pen scan without freezing to death. Okay, there we go. Lost power, so I'll turn everything off and wait for power to recover. Have I scanned for material already? I have scanned for plasteel, but our survivors don't need plasteel, so plasteel is super awesome to have had scanned, but it's not immediately useful, so I'm just not working towards exploiting that. So the way the heaters work with the open roof room is the way that RimWorld is designed. A room is a room if at least greater than a quarter of the tiles are roofed up. So this room doesn't have to be ambient temperature as a result. It's just it's a RimWorld game mechanic. So I've set this room up to be over 75% roofed, and therefore it gets heated by heaters. Della Barbar, thank you for the continue your gifted sub, and Macho for the resub. Alright, Zeusin. I want you scanning. Prime army again. Prepare a while. Okay, I think behind the walls is where we're going to be at. Stay indoors. And taking a look at them. Very poorly insulated for one of those. One has a recon helmet, which is high quality armor. Some of these guys are insulated, but really only like maybe half. And then the last group to the south, there's a heck of a lot of them. A lot of grenadiers. A lot of grenadiers. EMP nades, which is weird. About only... yeah, some of them are going to die to hypothermia quite quickly, I think. So like this guy, for instance, who has almost no insulation, is already hypothermic minor, racing towards Sirius. So it shouldn't be long now. And because we just had a big harvest... Oh, an insulting spree on Zeusin. That's going to be a problem. Now is really not the time for that, friend. I'm going to turn off the grow light as we re-sow the basins to use even less power. So they are moving in. Now, the other worry that I have is, it's honestly very cold for us, too. So it's not exactly safe for our guys to be out in the cold as a result. And then times where, environmental exposure can be in our advantage. I think what I want is to use that to our advantage and flip-flop the valid entryways into the base to force them to find alternative paths and to waste their time, because these guys aren't breachers. So now Axios, having closed the door, is forcing these attackers to find an alternative route, which is here, but it will take them a minute to figure that out. And all the while, he can be ready to ambush. Would have been really nice for Fishpick to have been part of this strategy, but he decided to just go angry. So we have some that are pivoting around, and I think what I'll try to do... Okay, they are fragging. Got it. That's, still, for lack of a better term, airtight. And I close that door and open this one. Which is going to send them around again. Alright, so that one is downed. I think the best move to make now is to open up this rear door and force them to travel again all the way around the base in for another loop. I'm going to have Axios dip into the ground pen scan room and everyone else into the main farm room so that they can recover from the ambient temperature from their hypothermia. And the plan is, as soon as they get close to this rear door, to switch it again, forcing them into the front. Because a lot of the guys out here are very... Oh, an eclipse. Very seriously cold due to hypothermia already. So it won't take much to tip the scales into my favor. So pierogi is... Yep, we just flipped it again. And as you can see, they are like scattered and they don't really know how to get into the base. Essentially, I'm forcing them to continually check for breach vulnerabilities, and they just can't find one. So one group is already fleeing. Two groups fleeing. Belrose and Flitchy are the only ones left up. Or no, maybe they're... no, they're still attacking. Okay. Oh, a social fight. Great. I have, like, half my people on not actively defending the base anymore. Okay. Last group's fleeing. I didn't realize that one had a combat shotgun, so I got kind of lucky there that it didn't get shredded at the last second. So they snapped out of their insult spree. And the main gate entryway is open, and so Pierogadog is tattered apparel, will try to replace that parka. It's a kind of expensive thing to replace, but I don't have much option. So in terms of the social fight, let's go ahead and also force bed rest, and then Axios can just patch us up without medicine. So the improvement of the defenses project is still underway. Kind of stalled out due to the frequency of raids, but we're getting there. And the mental breaks haven't helped either. Looks like Zeusin has now a new painful scar. She is a masochist, so I don't love the loss of manipulation, but at least there's a slight net benefit. If you're wondering about the colony wealth, it's about 75k. A lot of raids, though. So they're all set up to the close zone. I'm going to set Axios to the Axios zone, so you can start cleaning up the corpses again. So we're getting a little littered. And there's a lot of walls that need attention and repair. Why are you not eating at the table? That's so strange. This one brought in a whole bunch of silver. Alright, and the social fighters no longer set to bed rest. Let's get them up and out. So Axios has some, has a whole bunch of, like, farming to do. And then once all the basins are sown, I'll go ahead and turn on the grow light. I'm not going to turn it on till then. I did get some questions on YouTube comments about why I laid out the grow room this way, and it's because the basins aren't walkable. So it takes a while to, like, travel over them. So I laid it out this way is to not block all the flooring. So it's not necessary. Obviously, I'm going to eventually fill the room once I have the steel and power to do so. But for now, because I don't, I laid it out in this way so that we can move about the room a little bit more easily. Because I did get asked that question a bit on the comments. Alright, another pile of 9 to be burned up. We are a few days out from winter. I, of course, can't burn corpses for heating reasons until winter formally starts due to a law. And speaking of laws, I think it's a good time for our next convening of the vote. So voting is in session, and here are the proposals. Stalwarts propose, or when I say stalwarts, I really mean Zeusin, that charity is enshrined within their beliefs. Pilgrims propose that they have the same recreation rights as stalwarts. Stalwarts are willing to compromise, that they enshrine the charity beliefs and offer an hour of recreation to pilgrims. And pilgrims are willing to compromise, allow to say that stalwarts can enshrine charity, but they also lose an hour of recreation. You could defer to me and abstain from voting. And it's also worth noting that if everyone was invited to self-assign a faction, so for instance, if you self-assign the stalwarts to your faction, you should only vote for stalwart or stalwart compromise. And if you deferring to me or abstaining from voting, basically a stalwart never votes for a pilgrim idea or compromise, and a pilgrim never votes for a stalwart idea or compromise. So you can only vote for your own party, vote for your party to compromise, defer to me, or abstain from voting. In this case, if you really don't like your own party's proposal, you are free to abstain. And that way you don't tip the scales necessarily. That is entirely a viable way to deal with these as well. So it looks like you guys have decided that the stalwarts will have the opportunity to enshrine charity within their beliefs. And the session has concluded. As a result of that vote, we take the stalwarts here. Charity is now worthwhile. It's a little tricky because not helping people in need, like this one, is basically an impossibility that I get out to them. And then as far as their moods go, let me also fix that. The stalwarts are no longer downtrodden, they're just subdued. The pilgrims have not changed their mood about the way the voting has gone. So the stalwarts have lost a little bit of their mood penalties, in other words. So the way that I envision this series is like, these are the faction leaders, but you guys are the faction members. Of course, you're not actually physically pawns. So it's not that we only have 3 pilgrims and 1 stalwart, but we have 4 leaders within a community where you are sort of a non-rendered entity, if you will. A little weird, but that's at least the way I envision it. So it's not like, yeah. I hope that makes sense. And yeah, the stalwarts finally won after a long spree of losing. Oh, frostbite again. So here, I had intended to try to make a parka. We don't have a lot of material, so I hope that this comes out well. And if I'm making a parka, I'm going to turn off the ground pen scan. And we are getting ready to build the traps as well. So this is for Pierogadog and his tattered parka. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Frostwardens, which originally streamed live on Twitch February 2nd. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow members of the Ark.